Students in several states have actually filed lawsuits against their schools for failing to teach them basic skills like reading and math. One student plaintiff actually alleged in his petition that he can't spell his name, and he's a high school senior. And it brings me no pleasure to point this out. We all know we have a problem with elementary and secondary education in America, but the truth is that some, not all, but some of our schools here in America have become failure factories. And our kids are falling behind their global competitors in just about every category, not just reading, not just writing, not just math, also science. We live in the freest, most prosperous country in all of human history. And yet American kids rank 22nd, not in all 195 countries in the world, but 22nd among developed nations.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects every single American. Our education system is failing. High school seniors are receiving diplomas they can't even read. Some can't even spell their own names. That's unacceptable. Our kids are falling behind their global peers. It's time to act.
In 1979, President Carter established the Department of Education. As you know, Mr. President, it's a cabinet-level agency. Its purpose was to improve education outcomes throughout the country. I want to read you what the department's mission is supposed to be. I'm quoting here. The Department of Education is supposed to, quote, promote student achievement and preparation for global competitiveness by fostering educational excellence and ensuring equal access, end quote. Pretty words, that's all they are.
Let's start with some brutal honesty. Since the U.S. Department of Education was created in 1979, reading scores have barely moved. Math scores? A tiny improvement until they collapsed during the pandemic. Trillions of taxpayer dollars later, we're still 22nd among developed countries. We shut down our schools during COVID, and we paid the price. Kids fell a half grade behind, some a full year, and we haven't recovered. That's not politics, that's data. Meanwhile, the Department of Education's budget ballooned by 370% since 1980. And what do we have to show for it? Pretty words. No real results.
This chart represents reading skills among our kids in America. Down here, mathematics skills. This is when we started the Department of Education, way back here, 1979. This is where we are today. The line, we're doing a little better in math, but the line for reading is basically flat. And the line for mathematics is not exactly steep. The truth is that our scores, both for reading and math, have not improved appreciably in decades. And any progress that we have seen from the Department of Education's long tenure, which is very little, they disappeared during the pandemic when people in power decided to close down our schools. Funding for the Department of Education has far outpaced spending in the rest of the federal government. If you compare spending just for the Department of Education to spending in the rest of the federal government, the difference is dramatic. Since 1980, the Department of Education spending has increased by 370%.
Louisiana's on the right track. We opened schools fast and saw real gains. Fourth graders jumped to 16th in reading. We focused on fundamentals, trained K-3 teachers in effective reading, passed a law, third graders must read to move on, provided intense tutoring. Reading is the gateway to everything. No more social promotion. That's real progress. We gave parents a choice. Most parents care deeply about their child's education, but too often they're stuck with one option, a school that's unsafe or failing. So Louisiana joined the school choice movement. Programs in states like Florida, Utah, and North Dakota give parents the power to move their child's funding to a better school. When schools compete, kids win.
Now, looking at these numbers, I think it's pretty clear why President Trump is calling for us to shut down the Department of Education altogether. He wants to as we know, he wants to return education to our states. And Louisiana provides a perfect example of why that's a good idea. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that Louisiana public education and secondary education is perfect. We're not well, but we are doing much better. Over the past few years, Louisiana has actually outpaced the rest of the country in several measures of academic improvement and academic achievement in our K through 12 schools. According to the nation's report card, that's what everybody looks to. The nation's report card is put out every year by the Department of Education.
Look, I'm not here to bash every federal employee, but the Department of Education, it's bloated and ineffective. It acts as a middleman, collecting tax dollars, siphoning off a chunk, then handing the rest back with red tape. Send the money directly to the states. Let them innovate. Let them do what's right for their own students. Here's the bottom line. America's future is sitting in classrooms across this country right now, and we are failing them. But it's not too late. We can turn this around. We need to focus on basics, like reading. Empower teachers with real training. If we do those things, we'll get back on track. If we don't, we'll lose a generation. Thank you for watching.